Hello everybody, Earth.Otherwise here to ramble about some stuff I've been thinking about. I play PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds quite a bit, and I like to think about game design. I've also recently watched the GDC talk Automated Testing and Instant Replays in Retro City Rampage. In the talk, speaker Brian Provinciano, I think that's how you pronounce that, outlines the process of building a deterministic game engine with input recording and playback that logs button inputs in order to provide 100% accurate steps to reproducing bugs and lets community members share runs on leaderboards. Now, from that little tidbit, you can already tell what I'm going to say if you've read the title. It would be easy, trivial even, to implement a button recording system into almost any game. The only thing you need to do is implement a button recording system is to have either your client-side or server-side program store button inputs in a file, any file. The difficult part is making a deterministic system. In order for a system to be deterministic, it cannot have random elements. You might think, if you're new to programming, that this is impossible due to the fact that random number generation is at the core of many games. From dice rolls to bullet spray, random number generation is everywhere, except for one teensy problem with how computers handle randomness. They don't. A computer, by its very nature, cannot be truly random. So instead, what programmers have done is made a sophisticated enough mathematical equation that it's incredibly difficult to know what number will come out of it, unless of course you know the input number and the equation. And there's our solution. If we know the input, then we can simply re-enter the input to get the same output. Now, normally we don't want to do this because if little Jimmy knows that he'll roll a 6 if the game clock says it's been 5 minutes exactly, then that's an exploit. So for the most part, programmers simply input the system clock's current time to get a random number which cannot be predicted because by the nature of time, that number will never again show up. So there's two ways to get around this. One, we could record the system time for each action, or two, we can generate a seed number and start the game at time 0. Both work, and the only difference is the size of the number in your log files, and since no one but the computer is going to be reading those, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure there aren't other system time specific parts of your game, otherwise this may introduce bugs. So, you've done the easy part. Your server-side simulator is now recording every button press and every click with a timestamp. Now comes the hard part. The properly hard part. You don't want server-side running replays. That's a waste of server cycles. You want your server running new games. Now, what you're going to want to do is, at the end of each round, the players get the option to download the replay. One-time download for the replay. You don't want to be storing hundreds of game replay data in your backlog, unless, of course, you want to, search for cheaters or something using an automated system. Replay data, even for 100 people over the course of 40 minutes, even if there's a key press by each and every one of the players every single frame for the entire shot time, shouldn't come out to more than 500 megabytes of data. You're just recording key data. Perhaps what map they're using and what random seed they're using. Stick it all in a text file. Even with hundreds of thousands of lines of data, that's still less than 3 megs per instance. Now you need the ability to simulate 100 player models in your map on client side and give them that data. For games that have AI bad guys, this should be fine because you can just, plug in the data for those bad guys. But for PUBG specifically, this might be a bit difficult, but not too much. Though, to be fair, since it's an online-only game, I doubt they'll ever waste their time creating a client-side anything, regardless of how useful it would be to have a training mode or LAN custom servers. So that's my advice to you, the aspiring game developers who watch this kind of stuff. Make a deterministic system with the ability to record player inputs, and you can create full replays of any kind of game. Do this early enough in development, and it opens doors for other features really quickly, like programmable AI that the player can make do things, or ghost matches against friends. This has been Earth.Otherwise. Thanks for watching.